Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video about who is the most undeservedly disrespected player in the Premier League right now. Now, this is a bit of a strange title. I have made a lot of videos like this recently, so I'm struggling for little, niches. So we'll go with this one, undeservedly disrespected footballers in the Premier League. I've picked 5 out. They all play for big clubs in the Premier League. It's quite hard to find someone who's disrespected in the lower down the table, because then sort of nothing. A lot of them are not given credit, but not given disrespect, if that makes sense. So we're looking at players who basically get hammered at times, but I think that don't deserve it. So we'll start off with Kepa. Now this is an interesting one because Kepa recently, since Graham Potter has come to Chelsea, has been the #1 in goal and has made a good start to life under Graham Potter. I mean, the game against Brighton last week didn't go great for him, but he did get subbed off at half time and did have an injury, so I think he can be let off for that. And it was not really the cause of Chelsea's problems in that game, so yeah, we'll let him off for that. But he has turned his form around recently and has had games where he's made loads of saves. The one that stands out for me was when Chelsea played Aston Villa away, and he made an incredible triple save. So yeah, I think he has to be given a shout in this video, because he has had some unbelievable stick at times. Like the thing that stands out is, as well as he has made a lot of mistakes throughout his time, especially the first couple of years at Chelsea. The one that stands out is obviously that infamous League Cup final where he refused to be substituted by Maurizio Sarri. So yeah, it was always hard for him to build back his reputation, but he's definitely started doing so this season after having a couple of seasons where he's been a backup really to Edouard Mendy. But yeah, this season, since he's come back into the starting 11, he has proven himself to play very well and not be as bad as everyone thinks he is. Next, we'll go to Darwin Núñez at Liverpool. Now, Núñez was a £65 million signing for Liverpool this summer from Benfica. Came off the back of a really good season at Benfica, scoring 34 goals in 41 games. Incredible numbers. But the problem was he signed for Liverpool at roughly the same time Erling Haaland signed for Man City. So obviously two strikers, two number 9s being signed by in the summer what everyone thought was the 2 best teams in England. I'm not going to say Liverpool are one of the 2 best teams in England right now, because they're not, and that would be disingenuous of me as a Liverpool fan. But yeah, this season he hasn't actually had a bad start to life at Liverpool. Now it was very sort of stop-starty at the start of the season. He did his scoring record in the first couple of games. He scored against Man City in the Community Shield, scored against Fulham on his Premier League debut off the bench. But then obviously in his second Premier League game, first ever game at Anfield, got sent off for a headbutt on Joachim Andersen. And that got him banned for the rest of the Palace game and the 3 games after it. So not good. But his actual goal to minute ratio for Liverpool is like 1 goal every 90 minutes, which is a really good record, obviously. I mean, if you keep that up for an entirety of a season, you're going to end up on 30 goals. So considering the amount of stick he gets for not being the most easy on the eye footballer ever, like he's not silky on the ball or anything like that, but what he is he's very good at getting into good positions, creating chances for himself, and just playing an aggressive style of football where he just constantly causes centre-backs problems, and given space he is like a massive danger to any defence. So I think he deserves to be on this list purely for how much stick he gets given. Then third, I've gone with Jack Grealish. Now Jack Grealish is, these aren't in order of most disrespected to least, but they're just, I'll pick one at the end. My third option is Jack Grealish. Now the reason I've picked him is obviously he had two was it? Yeah, 2 very good seasons with Villa in the Premier League when they got promoted, and then made £100 million move to Manchester City. And the first season, I mean, into trophy wise, it went well. Won the Premier League, and did they win anything else? No, I think it was just the Premier League. But yeah, still good season in terms of winning a trophy. But he was never really in their best starting 11, and I think he gets a lot of disrespect because obviously people expect him to hit the ground running because he's the first ever. I think he's the first ever 9-figure signing in the Premier League history. So a lot of pressure on him, and he's joined a team that play a different style of football to any team he's ever played for before. Granted, he's only played for 2 teams before: England and Aston Villa. Sorry, 4. England, Aston Villa, Ireland, and I think he had a loan spell at Notts County, I think. So yeah, but none of them teams play anything like Guardiola's Manchester City. So massive change to his game he's had to implement, and he's still not 100% there, but it was always going to take time for him to get going at City. And recently he's put in some better performances, so I think he deserves a bit more respect, and he's had to adapt to playing in a different position as well at times in Man City, even if it is in a similar formation. No, sorry, a different role, even if it is the same position in the formation. We got there eventually. So yeah, he deserves a bit more respect. 4th pick is Harry Maguire. Now, Harry Maguire is probably the most disrespected footballer in England, but whether it's the most undeserved, that's the different question. So Maguire has had a relatively solid career so far. Obviously, has come from playing in the Championship for, I think, Sheffield United. Did he have a spell at Wigan? I've got a feeling he played for Wigan, went to Hull, went into the Premier League with Hull, and then moved to Leicester, and that's where he got a big reputation for himself. Got into the England team, made himself a starter for England, and just put in a couple of seasons of really solid performances for Leicester, alongside Wes Morgan and Kaglar Soyun. Was it Soyuncu? No, Johnny Evans, sorry. Before making that massive move to Man United. And his first couple of seasons at Man United went all right. In fact, actually, I'll go a bit further than that. They went quite well. He had his dodgy moments, but overall, he did enough to get the captain's armband at Man United and become one of the first names in the starting 11, and also had a very good Euro 2021 at England, as well as the 2018 World Cup. But it all started to go wrong at the start of last season, where he made a few mistakes and went through a spell of poor form, and he got a lot of criticism for that. In my opinion, too much, and I think that affected him mentally in terms of confidence levels when he was playing. And when you get down that, it's sort of like a spiral. It's hard to get out of, and he's still not like back to his best, but he's recently had a break, not been in the starting 11 at all really for United, bar a few Europa League games, and yeah, it's been quite hard for him to break back into the team, but I think he'll do it bit by bit. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets into the England squad or whether he gets into the starting 11 will probably be the bigger question. But yeah, I think he just purely based on the amount he gets, I think it's undeserved. I think there's certainly elements to his game which could be criticised, especially over the past 18 months or so. But I think there's no way he should really be like arguably the most criticised player in the Premier League right now. I think it would probably, if it were me, it would probably go to a different Manchester United player, specifically one that wears the number 7 shirt. And then the final one I've gone for is actually Tottenham's goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris. Now, Hugo Lloris, I've seen recently, he just gets a lot of disrespect for whenever Tottenham, lose a game. it always seems to be him who gets put in the firing line of, oh, he's got holes in his gloves or something like that. And I think, yeah, he's getting in his mid-30s now. I don't know how old he is. He must be like 35, 36 by now. And he's been around for well over a decade and a half. Like, he was even putting in great performances for Lyon in the Champions League in like 2010. He played for France at the South Africa World Cup. That's how long he's been pretty much at the top of European football. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. And in the 10 years now he's been at Tottenham, he's put in like season after season of consistent, solid performances. So the fact that he started to decline over the past 2 or 3 years, and people are just like hammering him for it when it's to be expected. If Tottenham, aren't happy with the levels he's playing at, well, this is always going to happen at some point. Move him on and buy a new goalkeeper then. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But he deserves a lot more respect for the career he's had, and the fact that he gets slated at times is very undeserved. But overall, I think for the most, it's hard to pick out of the 5. I'm going to rule Grealish out because I think if I was to say it was most undeserved, I think he'd have to properly start becoming one of City's best players soon. I'm tempted to pick Maguire purely based on the amount of criticism he has received, although he is still quite off form. Kepa, it could just be that he's on a very good run of form right now. It's between Lloris and Nunez for me. I'm going to see Lloris, though, sometimes does get given a lot of praise. Sometimes, so I'm going to give it to Nunez because I think part of the reason he's got the disrespect is because of he's going to constantly be compared to Haaland, when Haaland is like arguably the most dangerous striker in Europe in arguably the best team in Europe. So, I mean, it's a perfect fit, really, hence why he's already scored 20 goals this season. So, I'm going to say Darwin Nunez. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.